Hi, folks. Cloud Ace MC, Jesse, part of the Disability Support Program of Ontario. So, I fed in a shit ton of data, all the promises that the province made, and the calculations they should have been keeping up with the program. So, based upon the calculation, it is estimated that individuals in Ontario collectively have lost around $15.5 billion over the past decade due to inflation, comparing with what they receive versus what they need to maintain the same purchasing power. Please note that these are rough estimates and would need more input, but based on the information at hand, the Ontario government and the mistreatment of the disabled people has cost us, in 10 years, $15.5 billion of our purchasing power. That's rent, that's groceries, that's toiletries, that's everything under the sun. 5.5 billion. 15.5 billion. Billion. Just Ontario disability alone, due to the Fords and the absolute ignorance and hatred they soothe against disabled people, has cost us $15.5 billion of our purchasing power. Why are disabled people homeless in the park? Why can't disabled people rent an apartment? Why are they mooching off family? Why are they ending up with medical conditions? Why are they dying? Why are they stealing? Why has it gone to hell? Because they've had $15.5 billion in the past 15 years swiped away from them. $7.99 we used to get every few years for fridges, stoves, beds, and toiletries, and everything we needed to furnish an apartment. Gone. Every time we should have got a raise of 10, 20%, 1%. Literally, the Canadian government, the feds, should be arresting the provincial government right now. Doug Ford's office should be raided. Disability should be raided. The ministry's office should be raided. We should see exactly where that $15.5 billion went. Because it didn't go to us. And this is simply keeping up with inflation, a totally calculable number, and what we should have been receiving instead of 1%, 1%, 1%. So I'm accusing the Ontario government of stealing $15.5 billion away from disabled people in just the last 10 years. I would fucking love an investigation over this. I'd love an investigation to as how the Canadian government or the Ontario government can strip away $15.5 billion worth of our purchasing power and get the fuck away with it. Seriously, there's some fucking stinky shit here in Ontario, and that fat bastard Doug Ford, he's sitting on top of the pile. His brother was on the pile before that, and trust me, these two gentlemen are malicious against disabled people. They're probably part of the population that thinks we should just be euthanized. And, the reason I say that is because I've spent 2 years calling that office asking for fucking help, and I've literally been told to go give myself fellatio, basically. I've been treated like an inhuman piece of shit by the secretary. I've been brushed off every time that I was starving for 10 days. I didn't have enough clothing to leave my house. I was fucking pretty much naked. And they're like, tough shit, it's your own fault. It's not our fault for stealing $15.5 billion worth of your purchasing power over the past 10 years. We're not the reason you can't fucking live. We're not the reason that you can't enjoy your home, you can't enjoy your life, you can't enjoy anything because you're being treated like a minimalist piece of shit that's probably not even real. So how the fuck in twisted, monster-filled hell is this shit allowed to happen? And how come I'm the one who's got to fucking bring it up? I don't work for the government, but I do more work for the government. I do more work for the government than I've done in my entire life for anything. Except for maybe one other thing. I won't even get into that, but thousands of my hours in the last 10 years have went to trying to fucking make sure disability was stable. So who do I bill it to? Seriously. Every phone call I've made to the ministers, every phone call I've made to my worker, every video I've made complaining, all the shit that I've done to try to fucking make disability fair in Ontario, who's paying me for that? Because disability don't pay me enough for that. I'm doing fucking $25 an hour fucking work here. And what do I get? I get shit on by my worker. I get shit on by the fucking minister's office. I get shit on by the prime minister's office. I get shit on by Doug Ford's office. If all this virtual shit was real, at least I could go sell it to a fucking farmer. Or, somebody growing corn or something. Then again, I hear the shit market's gone down recently and nobody wants to buy shit, so what do you do? Like, seriously, what do you do? The disabled population in 10 years has been boiled alive like a frog. Slowly turn up the heat, slowly take away your money. You won't fucking notice. Well, if you're on the Ontario Disability Support Program, just know in the last 10 years, you and your fellow recipients have had $15.5 billion worth of your money sucked away, inflated away, and ignored away. So every time my sister has to buy me fucking groceries so I can make it to the end of the month, that's the reason I'm calling my workers assholes. That's the reason I think Doug Ford is a fat fucking piece of shit. And that's the reason I hate the Ontario fucking government. Because they turned me into a fucking charity case. 10 years ago, this shit was not happening on a monthly fucking basis. I wasn't becoming a fucking charity case by the 20th of each fucking month. 10 years ago, I could still go to a bar and play a game of fucking pool. Now, I don't even know where the fucking closest pool table is. Because I haven't seen one in 5 years. Seriously, I'm not real. I must be passed on to the next realm. This must be my personal hell. I must really be Beelzebub, the Canadian devil. And this is my eternal torment. Every last little bit just tormenting me. If you're a secretary that ever has to deal with me, I'm fucking sorry. I'm sorry that your bullshit and your fucking defending of the minister and your blocking of the minister has led to me, Beelzebub, because I'm going to call you a right fucking bitch. If you're going to stand in my way from talking to the minister of ODSP, if you're going to stop me from talking to my worker or the management, if you're going to stop me from talking to Doug Ford, you are a little bitch. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And the terminology I'm using it for, if I had to define the way I'm using the word bitch, person that ignores the fact they're working for fascist criminals who ignore me Like I don't fucking matter. Because honestly, it's easier to imagine that I'm in hell and none of you are real and this is all designed to torture me than it is that I'm alive and I live in the real world and you're all just a bunch of fucking monsters.